Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Emmanuel. And in the studio, Tommy Emmanuel.
Hey, that was nice to do a little duet with myself there.
That was great.
We make a good group, B and me.
I like that. The Tommy. The Tommy Guns or something. I mean, that was pretty good. I mean,
well, I know. That's me playing the original, right? That was from about '98 or something. That recording, was it, or 2000?
Well, let's see here. I have got. Hang on here. 2000. Well, this was released in 2005. Now, but you did it when?
Yeah. 2001. I think it was. It was in my hometown of Melbourne, Australia.
I thought you were from the next county over.
Yes, I am at the moment. I'm a permanent resident here in the United States, and I slipped over the border into Kentucky.
That's right, man. Welcome to Kentucky, man.
Oh, thank you. Well, thanks a lot, Mr. Headhunter.
Well, it's good being here. I swear, man. This is one surprise, folks. I did not expect this to happen tonight. I mean, having Brother Matt Davis on the show was exciting enough, and then I knew that Eddie Mattingly was here too for Tommy Fest, and Tommy's going to come talk here in a little bit. But Tommy said, I'm going to bring a guest with me, but I had no idea. Surprise.
Well, I'm happy to be a part of your show. I know how many people love to listen to you in this area, and you've been doing this for quite a while now.
7 years.
Yeah, isn't that great? Well, you know what? You wouldn't have been doing it for 7 years if it wasn't working.
Well,
you're doing something right, Brother Greg.
I tell you what, it's about the music. I just like you. We love music.
It's about the music.
What the good Lord put us down here to do. Whether play music for people like this.
Yes, exactly.
And
it was always a dream of mine in the back of my mind that I have my own radio show, because I love radio and I love surprising people with, unusual mixtures of music and styles.
To
be able to talk about it and stuff like that. Because I think everybody it wears you out, radio these days, because everybody's trying to be so damn funny and yet so controversial because they've got to get the ratings up. And then, if they play something good, they cut it off after 30 seconds because they've got to get back on the air and bullshit a bit longer, So this is good.
No, this station is an oasis. Hats off to Brian Locke and Alan Cooper, the management, for giving us the freedom of. I do this on Monday nights from 7 to 10. The format's blues, but we stretch it, man. As long as it's roots, as long as it doesn't get too slick.
Too jazzy,
No, jazzy. I don't mind jazz. Are you talking about? We're talking about.
No, I'm talking about some of that elevator stuff.
Yes.
You don't want to be hearing that. You want to hear something with that got a little down and dirty in it.
Every now and then we do something called the prune hour, and we might play. Prune hour is the music laxative, by the way.
Oh yes, and
can you imagine some of the songs? Billy, Don't Be a Hero.
Goes right through me, I tell you.
Oh Lord, I found my partner here. Like Billy, Don't Be a Hero. I Am Woman by Helen Reddy. Some of those tunes like that.
That's a great song. I Am Woman.
We should do that. I bet you could do it right now.
It's hard for you to do with a beard, though, isn't it? Convincingly. I am woman, I'm a freak. I've got a dark voice, I've got a deep voice and a beard, and I know too much to go back and pretend that I'm anything else but a woman with a beard.
I know. We actually played that one night, and this guy said, "You got to quit. There's cockroaches crawling out from under my dashboard."
Exactly. I had a friend, actually the guy who does sound for me in Europe and England. His name's Neil Seagot, but we call him Bubba. Actually, it was Doyle Dykes who gave him the title Bubba.
Okay, sure.
He's the best sound guy you'll ever hear. He's unbelievable. Anyway, he was telling me about. He went to this gig in the city of Delhi. I think it was Delhi. In India,
right?
And they had a so-called kind of blues jazz club. They took him there, and it was really run down, and there was a band on playing. And he said he was sitting there watching. All of a sudden, 3 rats appeared out. This is true. 3 rats appeared, right? And it was like a cartoon, but it was real life. And he saw them, and they stood up on their hind legs and looked around. And so the band's playing oblivious to 3 rats standing behind them on the reel, and then they stood up and they looked around, and then all 3 of them just scuttled across the stage, went up the other, and went off, and everybody in the audience is cracking up.
He had no idea.
And so these 3 rats have gone from one side to the other. They probably lived on the other side, and they came down to where the kitchen was to get a little nourishment, and had to make their way back. And they probably turned and said, "Oh, that band again, they still haven't tuned up. And they got, you know what I mean?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's
the
great.
Adventure, the things that happen, you know, in
that is one of the greatest stories I've heard. I mean, back around Halloween, I was working on my computer in the kitchen one night. This is not as cool, but...
I was working in the kitchen late one night when I heard an eerie sound.
Like,
oh, go ahead.
Absolutely. It was such a fright. Well, my cat is sitting up. She always hangs with me near the computer, and all of a sudden, she jumps up, and she runs down to the door. And there's a raccoon looking, and just looking in the door. And all of a sudden, the raccoon gets up on it and just like... I'm had.
Really?
It just stands there for a minute, and then all of a sudden he scurries off. So these little rodents. I mean, you know. But did Monty figure out what was going on?
Oh, Bubba.
Bubba, yeah. Bubba.
No, he just thought it was hilarious, and everybody was laughing. And the band, heads down and eyes closed, and they're grooving away, man. Well, oblivious to these three rats who take the stage and steal the show.
That's great.
You know the old story. Never work with rats or dogs or kids.
That's right, man.
Yeah, see?
That's the truth.
They'll steal the limelight from you every single time.
That's happened. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Well, how have you been? I haven't seen you in about 2 years, I guess, because last year, actually, the Delbert cruise was going on when you were here last time. I didn't make it up. So you've been. I've been
fine, and been writing songs a bit. I wrote quite a few last year, and so I've just finished recording. I recorded here in Nashville with my friend Kim Person, who produced my last 3 or 2 albums, and we had a great time. And this is the best thing I've ever made, I feel this is the first time that I've come away from a project of mine saying I feel totally jazzed about this whole thing, and I'm pleased how I played, and that's the first time for I don't know how long that I was really pleased with something I did, because I'm a hard guy to please, and I try hard to please me, because if I'm pleased, I know
if you're pleased,
I trust that if I'm pleased, you will be,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you've got to be hard to please, otherwise it's too easy to go, that take was good enough, Who wants to hear good enough? I want to hear great. Let's go. Let's get sore fingers from reaching for the stars.
That's right. And I've seen you do that, man. God, your journey, and it's been a spiritual journey, I know.
Yeah,
we know.
It still is.
Absolutely. We never stop growing in that realm.
Yeah.
But you, growing up in Australia, and being drawn to the music from this area, which...
Isn't that amazing?
Which is not very far from here, by the way, Muhlenberg County.
Exactly. Well, I went on radio. Where was that, Eddie? When I went on radio, was it in E-Town?
Oh, you've been on radio in Elizabethtown, yeah.
Right. Okay. And they did a mystery song. Someone call in and say what it is, and I played this.
Go for it. Yeah. Everybody, I think most people would know what that is. Right. But not one person guessed it and called in. Nobody knew what it was. And it was the 9 Pound Hammer by probably the most famous song from Muhlenberg County, and nobody knew it. And doesn't that drive you insane? Yeah.
But I had an experience similar to that, if I may tell you.
Sure.
I was playing at the place called the Baked Potato in Los Angeles, in North Hollywood. And some of the guitar teachers from it was called GIT, Guitar Institute of Technology. It's now called IT, Institute of Technology. It's called MI, Musicians Institute, right?
Okay.
And so there were 2 Australian teachers there, Frank Gambale and Brett Garced. And when they saw that I was playing at the Baked Potato, they said to all their students, right, your lesson for tonight is to go down to the Baked Potato and buy a ticket and go and see Tommy Emmanuel from Australia. So the place was packed, and most of it was young students from Musicians Institute, right?
Yes.
And they were all, wearing shorts and had things through their nose and tats all over them, and and they were all slouching around, and I think they owned the place. Anyway, I came out and did my stuff, and they went nuts. I mean, they went crazy. They'd never seen anything like it, right? And at the end of the show, they all came up for an autograph, and I was meeting all these young guys, and they said, Frank and Barley sent us down to see you, and blah, 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 And one kid came up to me, and he looked with a look on his face. He said, oh, my God, where does this music come from? And I said, right here. It's your music.
Yeah.
I brought it home to you,
Right.
Yeah, I played I did a bunch of Chet Atkins tunes and some Jerry Reed, and then, of course, I did my own songs as well.
Right.
But these were guitar students, so I started to, I did a bit of 9-pound hammer and all that kind of stuff, and talked about Travis, and then I talked about Chet being 10 years old, tuning in his radio and hearing Travis on the radio station in Cincinnati.
That's right.
Yeah, WKNOX, was it?
No. What was the station in? It may be. It's in Cincinnati. It was the big powerhouse.
Yeah, that's right.
The AM station.
Travis was on that station, right? And Chet heard him for the first time.
That's right.
And thought, oh my God, what he's doing everything at once, and that was the moment that galvanized Chet, was when he heard Travis on the radio. And he was quoted to say later on in life, when he hit the real big time, that he said, I'd be staring at the back of a mule if it wasn't for Merle Travis.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's right.
And he also said he's really glad that he listened to him for a while and then didn't hear him, because he said, I'd have ended up playing exactly like him.
Right.
I had to go and find my own voice. And it was exactly the same thing. Dig this. I was younger than Chet was. I was 7 years old when I first heard him. I was already playing a few years, because I started when I was 4. And I don't know how to explain this, but it's a God's honest truth. When I heard him playing, I could hear what he was doing. I didn't know how to do it, but I swear I could hear that he was playing everything at once. So the first song I heard him play was Windy and Warm, okay?
I love this.
Which is a John Loudermilk song. Now,
I'm getting a guitar lesson. I love this.
Oh, you don't need guitar lessons from anybody. But dig this. The original song was in C minor, like this. I'll just play a bit of it for you.
I love it. Go.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Well, I was going to improvise tonight, but I decided to make some stuff up.
That's great. I like the capo trick, man.
Now, there's a story behind this I wanted to tell you.
Go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, when we first heard Chet play this, it was in C minor, like this, right?
Okay.
So, what I just did. Right? And so, everybody played it in A minor. All right?
Right.
So, we thought, we admired Chet so much. He was a guitar god to us, right? So, he'd never use a capo. So, we all tried to learn it in C minor, like this. And it's really hard to do it, right?
Yes.
Right. And so when I finally met Chet in 1980, the first thing I had to ask him, I said, Chet, windy and warm? He said, yep, capo, 3rd fret.
And I even read somewhere where he was at a nail show and he, did he buy a shub? What do you call those little capo?
Shub, yeah.
He said the guy... He went somewhere and bought one, and the guy said, I didn't even want to charge him, but he wanted to pay me. I read that somewhere.
He never expected anything for free, except from Cracker Barrel, of course.
Oh, and that's okay. God.
But there was another thing. There was a song of Chet's called Gallopin' Guitar, which was in D, right? Let me see how...
Yeah, right.
And then there was a break in the middle of it. So there was a mandolin solo. Then he did a break, and it was so brilliant.
Was that Jethro Burns?
Jethro Burns,
okay.
yeah. And Homer playing rhythm, right? But the break was in D as the song was, but he played stuff that I thought, how on earth is he getting that? So I asked him, and he said, I just dropped a capo on during the mandolin solo, did my solo, and then the mandolin came again. I just whipped the capo off, and I was back to my original thing. And he fooled us all. He'd carefully worked it out.
Wow.
Yeah. And so,
wow.
These are the kind of things that drive men insane.
You're right. You're right. You know, Tommy, and I tell people this, and they've heard this on the show, there's a couple of points here I'm going to make. There's guitar players listening out there tonight, and if they don't learn some real Travis, they should leave the state. Do you think?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And
this is Kentucky.
This is Kentucky.
You've got an obligation. I mean, there is so many times...
which one? Just play another Travis.
Sure.
And you should learn this.
Yeah. Here you go.
Cannonball or something?
Yeah.
How about that? Well,
that's a little cannonball rag.
We should all learn that. I put myself in the category. I know little snippets of it, but
right. Well, you want to hear another Travis tune?
I will. Anything you want to play. You know, the cool thing about when you hear Tommy play or hear a good guitar player, you giggle. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hear you giggle sometimes when you play.
Absolutely.
You like when you hear somebody do something really cool, you go, that's what music is so cool. Make me laugh.
Yeah.
I love it. Go.
Okay, here's a little bit of Saturday Night Shuffle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you a song that I love that Chet sang. You know, telling my
troubles to my old guitar.
Do you know that?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm telling my troubles to my old guitar.
I love that
you
song.
You got to sound like that to get it right.
But he what a great little voice.
Oh, it was lovely. Yeah.
It was, man.
Yeah.
God.
I used to like him singing, I still write your name in the snow.
Is there?
Yeah, you know, don't eat the green snow, the yellow snow. Yeah,
right?
Yeah. He's saying, you know, something about when you left me, baby. I guess I was a tinkling in the wind, or something like that. You know, it's one of those. Yeah, but I still write your name.
He had
a
wild sense of humor, didn't he?
Oh, he did. There was another one that Ray Stevens wrote that he used to love singing. It was, "Would Jesus wear a Rolex watch on his cable TV show?" You know.
God.
It was funny.
I was only around Chet a couple of times. I hate to say this. I never got to meet Merle either, but
No.
that's, of course, Merle was in California, you know.
Yeah. Merle ended up in Oklahoma, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
He became an honorary Cherokee.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And but Chet, I was only around him one time when I was playing with Ronnie McDowell back in the 80s. We were doing the CBS show, and I was playing through a Mesa Boogie, and I noticed. Of course, they were real rare at that time, and he was watching, and he come over and said, "Son, that's some nice rock guitar playing." And I had purple overalls on.
Very nice.
I got a picture of me and Chet in purple overalls. and
what Chet was doing in purple overalls, we don't know.
Well, yeah, right.
It's like I saw an elephant in my pajamas the other night. What he was doing in them, I'll never know. Yeah. You know the old story.
Oh, I hear you, man.
Hey, Greg, I've just decided what I'm going to have written on my gravestone.
What's that?
I told you I was sick.
That's a good one.
Scratch your mark.
Got some more, man?
Scratch your mark.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
But I was only around Chet. The Headhunters and I were in a video, Vince Gill video.
Oh, great.
With him. But there again, I really regret not getting to know him a little bit, you know. And
well,
you're very
great
blessed.
Yeah,
but it was your fate.
Yeah, it was my debt. Everything that's
Destiny.
happened. We were talking about that over dinner tonight, and I realized one little kind of anecdote about my kind of rise in here, getting to know America getting to know me.
Right.
And it's taken a long, long time, and that's okay. I'm not in a hurry for anything, you know. I mean, I'm in a bit of a hurry to get better at this, but I'm not in a hurry for anything else, really. But I was going to say, okay, so the first time I got on the Opry, here's how I got on the Opry. Chet and I were recording our album, the day Fingerpickers took over the world.
Great album.
Thank you. And we'd been working pretty hard, and it was a Saturday, and Chet said, it's getting quitting time for me. I've had enough, you know, because he was still recovering from lung surgery, lung cancer and all that, and he was getting well. But anyway, he said to me, I'm going to take a nap. He said, I want to ask you, have you ever been to the Grand Ole Opry? And I said, no, I've always wanted to go. He said, okay, tonight I'll take you. So he had a little nap, I had a little power nap, and then we left and we went out to Cracker Barrel out near Opryland, and had a lovely dinner. And then we just drove up and parked right at stage door, and we walked in together. And it was like the parting of the Red Sea. All the big blacks, it was just like, they just parted, and the people were like, just mouths open, it's Chet Atkins. Right. No. Or they should have said, who's that guy with Tommy Emmanuel? No, anyway.
That's what they were saying. Yeah.
Anyway, so we're standing at the side of the stage, and Ricky Skaggs is on. And he's brilliant, you know. I love him.
Yes, he
Ricky.
is. Absolutely.
Anyway, the producer comes running up like a little kid, you know. Hey, Chet, great to see you. And Chet just immediately, you know, cool as can be, says, there's my friend Tommy from Australia, and he's a picker. You should have him on. And the guy looked at me and he said, next Saturday? That's how I got on. Just like that.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how much power Chet wielded.
Let me ask you this. I've played the Opry with Ronnie McDowell. And I get a little, not stage fright. Maybe it is that. Because I can't imagine you ever getting that.
No, but it's an excitement of some sort.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I
power.
remember one of the times I did the Opry, and in that night I played with Ricky and with Brad Paisley. We played Cannonball Rag together that night.
Wow.
Brad and I, and it was lovely. He played great, of course.
Yes.
And we just blew him apart, you know, and he was just tearing it up. So it was good fun, you know. And I'm like pinching myself because, you know, Brad Paisley's manager calls my manager and says, Brad would like to do a duet with Tommy. It's like, holy smoke, I didn't even know he knew who I was, you know, and I'm a big fan. But
Are you familiar with Scott Henderson?
Oh, of course.
Well,
Scotty Henderson up in... You mean Scotty... Oh, no, that's Scotty Anderson.
Yeah.
Scott Henderson, the guitar player.
The fusion
jazz
player?
I'm familiar with him, but I don't
From California,
know him.
yeah, he's a GIT or MIT.
Yeah.
Well, about back before Christmas, he called in, and somehow your name came up. I was talking about your great groove. Whenever you
thanks.
play, it makes you feel good. And I mean, number one, you can play, but your groove is. And you and I talked about this about
so
you're a drummer.
It's important.
Yes, it is.
Really is, and it doesn't matter where you want to take it musically. That's got to be the foundation's got to be there.
That's right, man.
And that's everything, because I can go off and fly my kite, but I don't want to lose you.
Well, the thing is, when it's like a slinky. You always land in the right place. I mean, you're always in time, but it feels good whenever it's coming down the stairs, man. And you land always right. But when I brought up your name, Scott went, "Wow!" And he was just talking you up, man.
Wow, thanks.
So,
Thanks, Scott.
Your influence has spread out.
Well, obviously something's going on. There's a rumble in the jungle because all jungle drums say "white boy, very good." No, a couple of weeks ago at the NAMM show, Guitar Player magazine honored me with the Legend Award, and I had no idea that I was a legend. I had no idea what the hell is that. I call it a leg end. But
a leg end.
A leg end award.
Right.
The end of my leg's still there. They're both still there. But the guy from Guitar Player magazine, the head guy, was there to present it to me, and he said, that at all the places where they send students and the guitar player are involved in. He said when your music comes up, it changes students' lives. And I said, really? And he said, I had no idea, And he told me all this stuff. It just floored me, and because I'm just hoping that someone's listening,
Well,
But it turns out that there's a lot more people listening. Like, for instance, there are thousands of things to see of me on YouTube. I haven't put one of those things. I wouldn't have a clue how to do that. I'm lucky to get on the internet, let alone,
I wouldn't either,
But it's made such a difference to my professional life and to the size of my audience in every corner of the world. People come up to me, like the other night. I was in the hotel in the middle of Nashville, and I was just sitting downstairs in the bar having a cup of tea, actually, with a young lady, and we were talking away. And next thing, this guy comes running up, and he said, "Can I get your autograph? I watch you every day on YouTube," and and it's like that's what the internet's doing, and it's bringing us together. And a classic example of the power of YouTube is this. I was booked in Stockholm, Sweden for the first time. I'd never played there before, and my agent rang me and said, "Can we go into a second show? Can we do, a 7 o'clock and a 9:30?" I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, the first one sold out in 2 days." I said, "Oh, I thought it must be like 200. I said, "How many people?" He said, 660. I said, "What?" I'd never played there before. And he said, "Well, it's sold, and they're waiting for this waiting list for a second show." And so they both sold out. So that was 1,200, 1,300 people on a first visit to a country. I said, "How is this possible?" And what happened was, this is how I discovered YouTube. A young guy sent a video. This is where it kind of all started. Someone sent him a video of me playing Guitar Boogie, and it was filmed in a place called Wolverhampton in England, and it was one of the best versions that I ever did of Guitar Boogie. It was like on fire, And so he sent that to as many friends as he possibly could. And all of a sudden, there was this whole network of thing going on. It turned up in Japan. It turned up in Russia. It turned up in Australia. It turned up in America. And all of a sudden, this whole thing across the world, all of a sudden, they all know about me. And next thing, there are thousands of things on there. And songs like Angelina, Classical Gas, have had more than 2 million hits.
Right.
So that's a lot of people seeing you.
Yes, it's amazing.
And so there you go. And any artist who says, "Oh, I don't like YouTube, they don't pay you any money," is full of crap. It does you more good than getting a royalty check, I'll tell you that. Right. Because we all need a job, and we all need people to come back and see us.
Preach it, brother.
That's right, brother.
Preach it, man. Good preaching, I'm telling you.
A man needs a job. That's what's going to keep him out of trouble.
That's right.
It's
I love him. That's some good preaching, man. And you're right.
Hallelujah,
Yes.
brothers. We need a job.
You sure you're not an old Baptist from Kentucky? Tommy, you're right on, man. YouTube, can you imagine? We can't imagine. When we were growing up, maybe it would, maybe... You know, it forced you, I'm sure, to be more going, well, what's he doing, this and that. But now you literally get on YouTube and go and find different versions of, say, Cannonball Rag.
Yeah, exactly.
And go, and there's several good ones up there.
Oh, I'm sure. And some of Tom Brescher's stuff is the best I've ever seen. You know, I mean, he's just so damn good. And I constantly am keeping an eye on things when I get a chance. And some of the stuff that he put up there recently, I mean, it's just like out of this world. What a player! You know, just phenomenal.
Yeah, right before Christmas, man, I had some time. You know, well, probably around November before things start hitting, and I got watching some of your stuff and Tom and going back, and of course Chet Atkins. The older I get, there again in the '70s, I was so into Jimmy Page and Clapton.
Yeah.
Of course, you are too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I put Chet.
I mean, at Chet's funeral, I wasn't there because I couldn't be there, and it was a sad thing. But I had a situation with my family, and I had to take care of it. And I rang Leona and Merle, Chet and Leona's daughter, and I explained to them. I said, I've got a real crisis situation with my children. One of my daughters was having epilepsy fits, and my little daughter nearly drowned in a swimming pool. It was just a horrendous time for us. And, it was hard. That week was one of the hardest weeks of my life. And then that week, my eldest daughter had epilepsy pretty bad, and then my youngest daughter got into the pool, and she was about, not yet 2, and she was so close to drowning. She turned blue, and her eyes went like pins, and the ambulance came and got her and revived her, and everything. We nearly lost both girls over a period of 2 days. It was the most scary week of my life.
It had to be.
Yeah, and I was in the middle. I only had 1 day off. And I was in the middle of a tour with Bill Wyman and the Rhythm Kings, and Martin Taylor and Albert Lee were in the Rhythm Kings, and I was the opening act. It was beautiful.
Oh, I know it was.
But anyway, all this is going on, and then Saturday night, I drove all the way from London to Cardiff in Wales, and I was playing in the big St David's Hall with Bill and the band, and I was the opening act, right? At 8:05, my phone rang. And Dr. Pritchard said to me, Chet just passed away.
Oh.
And I had to go and tell Albert and Martin and then walk on stage and play. And after the week I'd had, And that was, what I did is I just wiped my tears away, and I sucked in my breath, and I said, this is for you, Chief, And I went out, and then I told the audience, and I said, let's have a moment of silence. And we did. We had a moment of silence in a theatre full of 2,000 people, and they were silent, and it was beautiful. And then I started to play. And I played the song that I wrote for him. Shall I play it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Guitar.
Yeah, please. Beautiful.
Yeah, so that was the thing, and so I played that night, and then I had to get back because both the kids were still not in good shape, and my wife was scared.
Yes.
She was real scared. And so I left. As soon as I played, I packed up and just said goodbye to everybody. And Albert and Martin were still composing themselves for the show. They were so distraught when I told them that Chet had died. And because they both loved him so much. And then I got in my car, and it was summer, right? It was June, because it was June 30th that he died, 2001. And I got in my car, and I opened the roof, and I put on our album, and I cried all the way back to London. And I got it all done, got it all out of myself then.
Right.
And I got back, and, my wife was really glad that I came back. And then I sat on the edge of the bed, and I found the courage to tell her something else that was bad, and this is Chet had died. And she was, she said, oh, how are you? And I said, well, I'm all right now, I've kind of accepted it, Yeah. I knew the day would come when I'd get that phone call. I just dreaded it. Though,
right.
Like the same thing with my mother. But anyway,
right. Yes.
Well, we had to move the family because we'd sold this little place and we were moving into a place in Suffolk, and we couldn't move in till the Monday, and I found out that the funeral was on Tuesday, but the visitation was Monday,
right.
And I walked out of the room and I thought, what am I going to do? And I went downstairs and I thought, I have to move my family.
Yeah.
And Chet's funeral's at the same time. What am I going to do? And I was pacing up and down, and my mind was easily made up when my wife came down the stairs, and she looked at me and she said, I can't do this alone. And I said, okay, that's it. I'm not going. And I understood exactly where she was coming from.
Right.
And so I rang Leona and Merle and said, I'm sorry, but I got to take care of my family.
Well,
right?
yes.
And you know what Leona said? She said, Chet would want you to take care of your family.
Absolutely.
And so I was one of the only people who never made it to his funeral, who was close to him, you know?
Right. You were.
But I did get a chance to say goodbye to him because I saw him the week before.
Good.
And we had a beautiful day. And when I left, Chet wasn't the kind of guy who would hug you and stuff like that, but he did that day. He hugged me and he kissed me and he rubbed my hair and he treated me like his son, you know?
Yeah.
And I told him how much I loved him and that I would honor him every day of my life, you know?
Yes.
And he just said, I know, you know. And then he asked me to sing I Still Can't Say Goodbye.
Yeah.
Right? The song.
Yes.
And then when I finished it, he said, now I want you to go out there and keep singing it for me.
Oh.
That's why I sing the song, because he asked me to. And
that's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, that's why I do that. You know, and of course there are a lot of cynical people out there in the guitar world who thinks, well, he's just cashing in on a great tearjerker by Chet Atkins. But so I don't bother to tell anyone. But that's why I sing the song. Apart from the fact that I believe people need to hear a song like that. It reminds us that we're supposed to have a bond with our dad, whether we're a son or a daughter. There's supposed to be an irreplaceable bond.
Right on.
That's what dads are about. And the same thing with mums and sons, you know?
Yes.
So I think it's an important song to sing, you know?
Oh, no, it's great. Let me take care of a little business real quick. I mean, I know
we've been on air that long.
Well, yeah, but that's okay.
We're having a good time.
We are having a good time. Can you hang a little bit longer?
I'm doing hang.
Okay.
With the brother.
Yeah, man, I want you to. I want you to because I'm so honored. I'm happy, and I want Eddie to. We definitely got to talk about the big. You know,
okay.
you're coming to Kentucky in a little bit.
That's right. You do your business, and I'll get Eddie back.
Let me take care of this.
He'll whoop your ass.
That's right. I don't want no Buffalo, Kentucky butt whooping. That's for sure. Hey, we'll be right back with more Tommy Emmanuel here on the Lowdown Hoedown D93 Bowling Green's Classic Rock. Well, only on radio was just what just happened. Somebody called and said, hey, "Is Tommy there?" And I went, "Yeah, he's here tonight." And I put Tommy on. They were looking for Tommy Starr. Sorry about that. But that radio's beautiful, isn't it? Like that.
I love it.
Isn't it great? Hey.
Thanks are good.
That's right, man. Eddie, how you been doing?
Well, I'm doing great, Greg. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, man. Hanging in there.
Love to see you smile like that.
I'm happy. I'm very happy. Well,
I told you I had a surprise, didn't I?
You did. Yeah. It's a wonderful surprise.
Right.
And I really apologize. I couldn't make it down to the Cracker Barrel.
Well, the food was good.
Dad blasted.
Yeah. Had some good music going on.
Did you have any pinto beans?
No, I had chicken dumplings. I hadn't had that in a long time. Tommy got the fried catfish.
I had the catfish, yeah.
Tommy, he likes that southern food now, doesn't he?
do.
I know, man. Gosh, I'll tell you what. Let me do this real quick. Let me hit this. Let me hit the
taking care of business.
Legal ID real quick.
Got the blues? That's a good thing. It's the Lowdown Hoedown on WDNS Bowling Green D93.
Now we're legal. The FCC are happy.
Yeah, well, that's good. You know, there's something else you got to do to be legal in Kentucky, and that's have a thumb pick if you're playing on acoustic.
I agree on that.
Y'all failed to say that a while ago. That's the law.
I agree. What kind of thumb pick you got?
Oh, it's a big.
This one here is a It's got a, what's it got on?
It's carved out of a 2x4.
It's
just thick.
Imitation ivory.
Okay, is it a national?
It's from imitation elephants.
It's a heavy duty.
I mean, he's got a touch anyway, but it's got such a tone. I mean, even some thumb picks, do you find are a little?
Yeah, I don't like those thin picks, the slick picks and stuff like that.
So
well, look at his flat pick. It's like a piece of corrugated steel.
Wow.
That's a real pick. That's a man's pick.
That's a man's pick.
That's not a knife. Yeah. That's a knife.
That's what he told me the first time he looked at my guitar pick. He said, "What kind you got there?" And I showed him. That's not a pick.
Yeah, it's a piece of paper.
It's like my uncle used to say, it's a tater digger. Tater digger, man. That's what you got. Yeah. Wow. Hey, listen, there's something very special starting with you this week.
Absolutely.
You got the microphone.
We're here. Well, the reason we're here is this weekend, starting Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, is Tommy Fest 7. Yes. This is our 7th annual Tommy Fest, starring the Australian guitar legend Tommy Emmanuel. And we're so happy he's here with us tonight. Absolutely. We're having a great time. But Tommy will be back in Kentucky on Thursday at the John Hardin High School's Performing Arts Center in Elizabethtown. Yeah. Showtime is at 7:30. We've got, like I said, concerts Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. He's doing guitar workshops on Saturday, starting at 10 a.m. in the morning, and also again on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. So everybody needs to come out and see Tommy live. If you've never seen Tommy live, you are in for a treat. It's one thing to listen to his CDs. It's even a great thing to hear him here with Greg Martin. But you got to see this man live and let this music rattle your bones and shave your head, because it will. Well, you see how much he loves it. Oh, absolutely. And, and us guitar players have been doing it for a while. When we see Tommy, you go, see, Tommy's never lost ever what made him want to play. That's right. No, really. Right. And you haven't. And he loves every moment. I can tell when you just... I bet every song you play is like that. I just know how you know. It's not just Tommy's love. It's not just his love of the guitar and love of music. It's also his love of people. And I've told many people that if Tommy couldn't play a lick of guitar, once you meet him, you love him. That's just all there is to it. I agree with that. Yes. But we love his guitar and we love his music. So that's just icing on the cake. You can come, Tommy. Would you bring that guitar on over here with you? You gonna take him to White Castle too? Oh, I've never taken Tommy to White Castle. Oh, do you like White Castle? Oh, I love it. I grew up. That was a specialty when I was a kid. You go to Louisville and get White Castle. It was a treat. I know. Market was the Jefferson Market. Now, I will admit that's something Nancy McLean and I do quite regularly to stop at White Castle. Yeah, White Castles are, oh man, Lord. Yeah. But anyway, tell them about the tickets, how they can get the tickets. Well, you want to call the telephone number 270-325-3958. Carol will answer and take your ticket order. We are handling credit cards now. That's something we hadn't been able to do in the past. So we do have seats available for all 3 nights right now. And, of course, I drove down here today from the war zone. We've had ice like you wouldn't believe north of here. My woods is a total war zone. It looks like somebody napalmed it. But the theater's in good shape. They've got electricity. We've got running water. We've got heat. And we're on full status go for Tommy Fest. So Saturday... Or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And what time does the show start? Showtime's at 7:30. Okay. The Saturday workshop is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The Sunday workshop's 1 to 4. Because I can come Thursday. Well, we're hoping you're going to be there. Yes, Thursday's the one. Who else will be with you on Thursday? Shall I interrupt now and talk about my... Can I talk about my... Is that enough of me talking about you? You want to hear you talk about you? That's right. I love this. Enough about me. What do you think of me? Preach it, Tommy. I'm a legend in my own lunchbox. Anyway, I wanted to say that this year I've got some wonderful guests, and on Thursday night, my very dear friend and the other CGP on this planet, right, John Knowles, will be joining me, and he'll do his own little bit in the show, and then we'll do some duets together, and it's a lovely blend because he plays nylon string. And when I play with him, I switch to a little old Gibson Kalamazoo parlor guitar with a mic on it. So I just play with just a mic on it. And it's a cross between
a normal acoustic sound and almost a resonator guitar sound because it has that high nasally voice of the little parlor guitar. So I have a Gibson Kalamazoo from 1934.
Wow.
It was given to me by a guy who passed away with cancer, and I saw him about a week before he died, and he wanted me to have this guitar. His name was Peter, and he lived on the border of Holland and Germany, and was a big fan of mine, and unfortunately had this terrible cancer, and it took him out. But he gave me that guitar, and it has the most beautiful voice.
Right.
Yeah, and it's in mint condition, and when you see it, you'll just fall in love with it. It's just a little tone machine, you know.
Yes.
And so John and I
tone
and quality.
Yes,
that's right. T&Q. Life involves about that. I mean, revolves around tone and quality.
Life's too short for bad tone.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, so on a Friday night, John Jorgensen is my guest.
He's one the Headhunters and John played together back in the summer in Colorado, and I've known John since Desert Rose, and he's one of the most rounded players you ever.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll be doing a bunch of Django tunes.
I've seen you guys on YouTube.
Oh, that was taken at Copper Mountain, Colorado.
That's where we played.
Yeah,
Copper Mountain. It was this like 2 years ago.
Town.
Yes, yeah, we did that. Okay.
Yeah, we did that a couple of times. There was John and I and Joe Satriani and someone else. You know, very similar styles. Yeah.
Oh God,
you know what I love about Joe is he's got this stack of Marshalls and stuff there, and he's got the old heads at the side, and then he's got the octave thing, and he's got one pedal. He's got a real simple setup. You can stand right in front of his amp while he's playing, and it's not too loud.
Really?
You can stand right in front of it. The sound is so big, but it doesn't kill you when you're on stage with it. You know? I can play acoustic guitar with him playing that on the stage, and it's no problem for me.
It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Anyway,
I'm guilty.
I wish I was in Dixie.
Right.
On Saturday night, I'll have my friend Rick Price, who has come from Australia. And he's a great, great singer, and him and I get to do some stuff together as well. But, I want America to hear Rick Price. You're not going to believe his voice. I gave you that CD, and you want to play a track?
Yeah, I do.
Put on
I do.
Walk Away, Renee.
And I love this song. And the Left Bank was the...
was it really?
Yeah,
I thought
Mercury Records, 1966.
Yeah.
See, I know this kind of stuff. I don't know anything else.
Rick has been with us before. When we started the Acoustic Guitar Masters Concert Series back in the year 2000, Rick joined Tommy for one show, and everybody loved him. Incredible voice. So they're going to have a great time hearing Rick perform. And before you push that button, most people don't know who Dr. John Knowles is.
Right.
But us mere mortals, he's responsible for transcribing a lot of Jerry Reed's and Chet Atkins' music, so the mere mortals can learn how to read it and play it.
Okay.
He not only did that, but he was the arranger for Chet on so many songs, like Chet's classic version of The Entertainer, from the movie The Sting.
Yes.
That's a John Knowles arrangement.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, just really
beautiful.
People,
I mean, this is just...
Hang around. Miracles occur.
Yeah, essential stuff, And here, I'm going to be on a bus out to New Mexico after late Thursday night.
All I can say, Greg, is better you than me.
I know. We're playing New Mexico. But because I have to shoot up and then shoot back down to load. I got to go load Marshall gear.
That's right.
Oh Lord. Well, anyway, let's play this, and 'cause I love this song. Anyway, this is going to be exciting. Rick Price. You can hang out. You can at least hang another 20 minutes, or can you?
Yeah,
okay.
Well,
or you tell me whatever you can do.
Okay.
He might take you to White Castle if you can hang.
Yeah. All right. Threaten me.
All right. Okay. This is Rick Price, a Walk Away Renee, here on the Lowdown Hoedown, D93, Bowling Green's Classic Rock. That is beautiful. Rick Price, Walk Away Renee.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is mine, right?
It's yours.
Thank you. And this
Rick will be very
nice.
happy that you played him, and I'll let him know, because he's living at my house.
Hey.
And he's a real brother to me. I've known him since he was about 18, and...
That is a great song anyway.
Yeah, I know. He's got a great choice of songs, but also, he's a great songwriter. There's a song he wrote that I really love called The River of Love. It goes like this. When I'm in trouble, when I'm feeling down, I'm caught up in the struggle, stuck out on the wrong side of town. Well, I know you won't forsake me. You help me rise above. Let your spirit take me down to the river of love. Wash my hands in your water. Turn me around, and I'll surrender all like I oughta when I go down to the river of love, the river of love. Take me down, down, down to the river of love.
Yeah,
isn't that cool?
Yes, that's a great song.
Nice for Nell out there in Radio Land.
Yes, how many CDs?
He'll have some there.
Okay, how many has he done?
Oh, he's done a lot. But he did that whole thing himself.
Wow.
At home, he played everything on it and recorded it, produced it, mixed it, sang everything, played everything.
Well, this is plumb good.
I mean, the boy's good.
This is great.
Yeah.
This is great. Are you going to play a little? I know you got to go in a little bit.
Okay.
Well, let me give everybody the phone
Oh no,
number again.
please
For
give the
Tommy Fest tickets.
information
270-325-3958, and somebody can take your order for tickets Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night for concerts. Showtime 7:30. Guitar workshop Saturday at 10 a.m. and Sunday at 1 p.m.
Yeah.
And that's at the Hardin County Schools Performing Arts Center in Elizabethtown. Tommy Fest 7. Don't miss it.
That's right. Absolutely.
You'll be sad.
Now, there's a website, too. Because for you computers, if you
www.acousticguitarmasters.com.
Yes,
acousticguitarmasters.com. No spaces. All one word.
Right.
Yeah.
Please, people, go.
I'm just going to try to put my seat back up. It's gone.
Yeah, we're going to have Tommy. I know you got some...
Don't let the seat go down on me. Say again, Greg. Sorry.
No, man. I was just getting into the moment.
Yeah, hey.
You say you're going to actually go see somebody play tonight?
Yeah, at the Station Inn in Nashville.
Neil Sedaka? Is that who it is?
No.
Oh, no. Never mind. That was funny out there.
Yeah,
you know Neil Sedaka?
I love my calendar girl. Yeah.
How about Bad Blood? Remember that
Bad
one?
Blood, yes.
Hey!
And Walking in the Rain. What is it? Rolling I feel the touch of your hand in mine.
Yeah.
I feel laughter in the rain. Yeah. Walking hand in hand with the one I love.
That's it, man.
I've eaten in his restaurant.
Have you really?
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Doctor?
Great.
Okay.
And roast duck.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Roast duck, huh? Did they put it on the bill?
Yes. Don't encourage him.
Hey, you know what?
Fresh Kentucky, boys.
I tell you, there were two ducks walking along, and one said quack quack, and the other one said, "Look, I'm going as quack as I can." Hey, Greg, there were two snakes sitting together and talking away there. You know, as snakes do. And suddenly one guy jumped up and he said, "Hey!" He said, "Are we poisonous?" He said, "I don't know why." He said, "Damn, I just bit my tongue."
That's good, man. Now, you are going to tell some jokes during the show.
Yeah, actually, I must tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this week I've decided to put a few songs between the jokes this time. Yeah, just add a little music to my show. Start out with some comedy and then, work my way through a bit of drama and then into, pathos. And then work my way down to mediocrity and start playing music. So, anyway.
Beautiful.
All right.
What are you going to do for us, Tommy?
I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet.
Tommy Emmanuel, I'll tell you what. I mean, how often you get to come to Bowling Green?
Bowling Green, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Listen carefully.
Beautiful.
That's called the Finger Lakes.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I liked it, but I like that Neil Sedaka, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Would you do some of that Thursday night, man?
Some Neil Sedaka?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. I haven't played
I do. I could get him to do it, folks.
Let's see. Something like that.
What's that proof?
Laughter in the Rain.
The melody. The melody
isn't it beautiful?
Isn't it?
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Chet would have dug it, wouldn't he?
He would have dug it. Well, Earl Klug recorded it.
Did he really?
Yeah, on an early album called Finger Paintings.
Wow.
Yeah. You remember this? You may not remember this song, but this was a song that Earl did, and I really loved it. It went like this. It was called The Magic in Your Eyes.
Okay.
Really beautiful,
brother. Gosh.
I really loved Earl. Earl was a nice influence. Earl and George Benson came along at the right time for me, when I could understand what they were doing and hear something completely new. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden there was a nylon string player who had keyboards, bass, and drums, and his music was so beautifully produced. The sound was so beautiful. And the playing was just beautiful. It was
and Chet was really...
He was a big Earl fan, and vice versa. And Earl always gave Chet credit for being one of his heroes and guiding him musically into his direction. And working with George Benson was the other. That was the other thing for Earl.
Wow. Chet, he loved... It didn't matter what style, if it was good.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did he think about people like Jimi Hendrix and Clapton and...
he appreciated them very much.
And the thing about Chet, he was always Chet.
That's right. Well, whether you were the president or the waiter in Cracker Barrel, you got treated the same.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's a good thing.
And the Beatles, of course.
Yeah. He was a major McCartney fan. He was a real fan of McCartney's. And McCartney stayed at his house a few times with his family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Michelle, what was it? He said he'd heard that they had written Michelle. He influenced that? But he didn't believe. I read that somewhere. Said, I always heard that I've influenced the Beatles to do Michelle, but I don't believe it.
Yeah, it's the same. I was doing a gig in New York City, and with Robin Ford, it was like a double header kind of thing, and we played the bottom line. And Sting came in one night, and they wanted him to get up and do something and sing or whatever. And Sting got up there, and I don't know whether you've ever heard of John Patitucci. But he was playing bass, and it was the best, not only the best bass playing, but the best solos I've ever heard. I normally hate bass solos. I don't want to hear a bass solo. I want the bass player to go boom, boom, boom in the background and make a groove for everybody to sit on. Because when bass players start all this noodly shit, I don't like it. It doesn't do anything for me. But I can tell you that I couldn't play as good of guitar solos as John Patitucci played on the bass. It was the most musical thing I've ever seen. Yeah. And you know what? Sting got up, and before he started to sing, he looked over at John Patitucci, and he said, I read somewhere that I was an influence on that man. I don't hear it. I can't play like that, But John was such a beautiful guy. Yeah. For me, he totally stole the night every night. Because you just couldn't take your eyes off him.
So you and Robin, I guess, have jammed.
Yeah, we toured together a lot in the old days. Back in the mid '90s, and we both had the same management out of San Francisco at that time.
And you opened for Clapton.
Yes, I did.
I love that story.
Tour.
And he watched you one night, right?
Eric never comes. The guys told me Eric will never come to see the opening act. He just wants to come here, do his gig, and get out. And that's how it was. On the first night was in Adelaide at a beautiful theatre, and it was really packed. Anyway, we were doing 2 nights there, and because it was a smaller venue, right? And it was small. I mean, it was like 1,500 people, and then there was about 600 people standing kind of illegally around. It was not really legal. But anyway, we won't tell them that. But anyway, so the first night, Lee Dixon, who's been Eric's guitar tech, a great guy. He was there at the side of the stage, and And he watched the whole thing, and I had a Fender Twin, Telecaster, and all my little pedals and stuff. And we came out smoking, you know, and my band were really good. And we got a standing ovation at the end of the first song, you know, and all the crew were like running around, you know, alarm bells are ringing. Shit, the opening act got a standing ovation, you know. You don't do that before Eric, you know, it's a big no-no. So, but here's what happened. After the set, during my set, which went for 35 minutes, I was told 35 minutes, no more, no less. Right? It's got to be 35. Okay. So I did exactly 35. I came off, and the road manager, the Australian road manager, not Eric's road manager, but the Australian road manager, came up to me and said, "You can't do this. You can't have 4 standing ovations for the opening act. It's not done." And I said, well, there's nothing I could do about it. I went out and did my job and did the best I could. Right. He said, cut your set, 24 minutes. I said, okay. So I did. Anyway, he was all, you know, annoyed at me because how's he going to tell Eric's folks that the opening act got a standing ovation? You can't do that. Anyway, so Lee spotted what was happening. And then when the guy walked away from me, after giving me an earful, I was still high from the gig. It was wonderful. You know, I had a good time. Sure. And I didn't really care what he said. You can ask me to cut it down to 5 minutes and I'll still come out and do it, you know. Yeah. Because I believe in what I'm meant to do. And there's nothing, no amount of man-made power is going to take it away. It's because it doesn't come from man. And anyway, so Lee comes over to me. He was so nice. And he said, really loved what you did. We'll get a great sound, and Eric's going to love you. He said, I'm going to make sure he sees you tomorrow night. And I knew that would be something unusual because he never turned. You never saw him. He was a man who appeared from the shadows and walked on stage. Right. You know? And so I came on the second night, walked on stage and launched into the first song again. And I just kind of looked over to the side, and there he was tucked in behind the PA, sitting there watching me, you know, and he sort of looked up at me and smiled, and I did the show, and he was digging it, you know. And then as soon as I came off, Nathan East came running up and grabbed me and said, come back to Eric's room, man. We're all in Eric's room, you know. So we went into Eric's room, and we all got a photo together. And, you know, I couldn't wait to meet him to tell him just how much I loved his singing. Yeah. Because everybody talks about his guitar playing and overlooks his singing. And he's an incredible singer. Yes, he is. I love his singing. Absolutely. So that's what I told him. I didn't say anything about his guitar playing because that goes without saying. Everybody knows who he is, and he knows who he is. Right. But not many people, I don't think, tell him what a voice he's got and what a gift it is.
You're right about that. And it just keeps getting richer, too, doesn't it? Better?
Better and better and better. And he keeps getting on better. And I find him a big inspiration, you know, just in his journey, the journey that he's had in his life in the eye of the public, right there in front of us all. He said, this is me and this is what I've done. Yeah. This is where I've come from. Look where I'm going. Mm-hmm. You know, if that's not a great example, I don't know what is.
That's right. That's right. You know? He is, he's grown well.
Boy, hasn't he? And now his life is so fulfilled. He's got a wonderful young wife and beautiful kids. Yeah. You know, something he's always wanted. Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, they've got a great dad.
Yes, they do.
They got a great dad.
So was he when you got to meet him, he was as cool as he...
He was so quiet. He was really quiet-spoken. He didn't have a lot to say. Yeah. But when I told him that, he looked me right in the eye and he said, I appreciate that, you know, like that. And then...
You know, he did. Because, he doesn't... He says he really works at his singing. And, I mean... Anybody does, but he says he really has to work at it, and I know he appreciated it. He had to.
Oh, it's just so beautiful. His voice is so beautiful, you know. And Nathan and Greg Fillinganes were making comments, and we were all having a bit of a laugh, you know. And then they said, okay, 5 minutes or whatever. And I said, okay, I'm going to leave you now, but thanks for everything. And he grabbed me by the arm. He said, hey, I know you've been doing this a long time. He said, keep doing it. That's the last thing he said to me.
That's great, Tommy. That's a wonderful story.
Thank you.
Tommy, I
better run out the door.
Yeah, we're going to let you... I believe... yes, we're going to let you go, but gosh, thank you so much
Thank you for having me, brother.
Tommy Emmanuel. I am so honored.
Stage, screen, radio, and taxi cab. Here we go.
Eddie... Eddie, I am so happy.
Greg, we're happy to be here. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Well,
I could look at both of your faces, and I know you both had a great time.
Well, a little joy in our lives is all we need. A little guitar playing.
I've been wanting to see this happen for a long time.
Well, I know.
I knew it'd be magical.
I tell you what, usually, Tom, at the shows, we get to speak a little bit, and we usually get to hang at the party, the little dinner and stuff, but this has been so special, and thank you for sharing your heart, and thank you for the good preaching there. I know there's a Baptist preacher in there somewhere. I know that he might have to be, the Cider Creek Baptist Church, maybe looking for Pastor Emmanuel, but gosh, I am so honored. One more time, please give them the details.
It's Tommy Fest 7, starting Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. in Elizabethtown at the Hardin County Schools Performing Arts Center. We've got Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night concerts, Saturday and Sunday guitar workshops. You can call 270-325-3958 to get tickets. I wouldn't suggest calling this late because the Carol's probably already gone to bed. But call tomorrow. She'll be there ready to take your orders. Come up and visit with us in Elizabethtown. Enjoy Tommy Fest. Tommy's got some very special guests. And, Greg, we thank you so much and so happy to be here, brother.
Thank you. I'll see you Thursday.
We'll see you Thursday.
I will. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. I'll see you guys out. Hang on. I'll take care of a little business, and we'll get Mr. Matt back in here. But, folks, this is the cool thing about this radio show.